Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Hope you're all doing well. Hold on, give me just a second, making sure everything's all good and we're ready to start. But yeah, welcome everybody. Hope you're all having a great day. Today has been okay for me, not great. I had a bit of a slow start up to the day. Nothing's really been great. It's just been, Didn't get as much sleep as I'd like. Also, I've been not feeling absolutely the best today, so it's been a little bit weird. I'm tired. There's a lot I need to focus on later too, so yeah, I've got a lot on my mind, but anyway, that's not really too important. Hey everybody, welcome to stream. Hey C's, good to see you. Glad you could make it. Came in time to see me do some more Kyogre raids. By the way, well actually I'll wait a second, see another person in the chat. Hey Wayne. Good to see you. Glad you can make it. But yeah, now like I was saying, so one quick little thing before we properly get into like the actual talk and just like talk about whatever. I think today's going to be pretty short stream day. I don't see this being very long. I'm planning to do like 2 hours of stream and then stop. I want to take it easy right now. I feel like I kind of pushed myself in my limits a little bit when it came to the whole Groudon streaming thing, like trying to get the shiny there. You guys saw what happened. I was doing like probably 4 or 5 hour streams like fairly frequently and then following it up with like doing some more streams on top of that so I could try to get the shiny, and it pushed me a little bit more than I was hoping to, so yeah, I'm going to need to do a shorter stream today, and I did one yesterday. Also, there may not be a stream tomorrow, or potentially, like, the day after. I don't know. I'm going to do either Sunday or Monday. I'm going to do a stream, and I'm going to take a day off for one of those, because I need to go take care of some stuff. Oh, cool. I didn't actually know it was your birthday. I'm sorry if I'm not paying attention to some of that stuff. Like, I try to keep up with like everybody in my community and remember stuff like this, but I'm not the best at remembering all these dates, especially when there's a lot of people that are in the community. Happy birthday, Wayne. Oh, excuse me. My birthday will be still a long ways off, considering I'm not having another birthday until April. Not really looking forward to that though. I'll be 29 and still dealing with the same issues that I had before. Anyway, let's try to talk about some other stuff. I want to talk about a bunch of stuff. Hope you're having a good birthday, at least. It's always a shame if you have like a really, really lame birthday. I can remember like not really doing a whole lot for my birthdays in the past. I think the most I did was like we went out to eat most of the time, and that was pretty much it. And there are definitely some that I'm pretty sure I don't remember like off the top of my head that didn't go very well either. I mean, can't really do much considering the fact that like we're stuck inside because of the coronavirus right now, so it seems like birthdays right now are going to be really, really depressing compared to normal. Stuck, not able to go anywhere, not able to hang out and do anything with like friends. It's genuinely a crappy year. I'll run that topic. This should be a fun thing to talk about for a little bit. What's everyone's like best memory from their birthday like? What's one thing you remember that you really liked that you got for your birthday before? I'm curious. You got Mario Kart Home Circuit as a gift? Cool. I've thought about picking that up. I don't know if I have any interest. It's really, really it's really pricey, and on top of that, my floors are, shoot. Yeah, the apartments I live in, they're carpeted, so I don't know if me getting it would actually be a good idea, considering that I don't feel like it might actually work on my floor. I don't know if it works on carpet properly or not, so don't think I would want to take a chance with it. 2018, you think? Has he got an Xbox 360? Cool, that's a pretty good gift. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it as like an amazing looking game. This year's going to be kind of depressing for me. Not like it's the worst thing, and it's not bothering me too much, but it's bothering me a little bit, and, like, I'm really not happy with the way things happen to my parents right now, and, like, on top of that, like, I hate to, like, bring up family issues too often, but, like, I feel like my parents, like, really, what's the right word for this? I guess, well, they abandoned me at, like, a really, really terrible time, not even considering how I'm feeling. Literally, I came out to them trying to get support because of the fact I'm having depression problems, and that I'm trying to go to therapy, and then they fucking lash out at me when I'm fucking asking them for help, so yeah, I'm pissed off with them. And as a result, I mean, this is gonna kind of suck. I doubt I'll be able to go go do anything for Thanksgiving, which isn't too big of a deal, but I also won't be able to spend like Christmas time with anybody like important in my life. Like, I can't even go see my older brother because he lives really far off, and on top of that, I'm not good with driving, so I don't want to drive myself there. I genuinely don't know if I could anyway. I don't feel like I would want to be there at the same time my parents are right now anyway. But it sucks. It really sucks. It's one of the things I've gotten used to about Christmas time that I actually look forward to, is getting to see, like, family that I don't always get to see. It's kind of nice to be able to connect with family a little bit. And I don't even get to go see my older brother, who's the closest family I have, which that stings a little bit. Anybody in my family, I don't want to, like, I don't want to, like, burn any bridges with, and I actually enjoy talking to somebody that I trust in my family, like it's my older brother. I hate the idea of not being able to go see him this Christmas, but it's whatever. I'm sure he understands, at least. It still sucks, though. Let me see. It's expensive and you get bored easily. Yeah, I can see that easy. That's part of the reason why I didn't think I would bother getting it. Let me see. That's kind of an Xbox One, but... And yeah... I think we've all had some issues like that at some point with, like, a console we want and end up getting something wrong. It's not surprising. That's a fun thing to talk about when it comes to that matter. Fucking console manufacturers naming their consoles really, really poorly and making some very easy mix-ups that pretty much anybody could make. Oh, man. That reminds me, and I've said this before, I don't understand what the fuck the strategy Microsoft is going for with their new console. Like, their naming is kind of not very good. Hang on a second, I'm gonna get this set up in Discord before I keep talking. Let me just make sure my link's ready. But yeah, Xbox Series X, that is so confusing as a name. It's so close to the Xbox One X. It's like... It's like, you would expect that people are going to mistake this for the Xbox One X, right? Like, a lot of people are just going to assume this isn't even a new console, so it's like, this is a really, really dumb and really, really bad naming decision if you ask me. It's so easily confused. Did I get the link? Okay, yeah, I did, just making sure I did, so I can link it on Discord. I don't know, I don't think it's a very smart name. It's like the same kind of problem that happened with, like, some of Nintendo's consoles, and that's a fucking fun topic to discuss. Not like it's a really big deal, but, like, let's not forget how the Wii U ended up selling really poorly. Wii U got fucking bombed in sales. Like, what were the total sales again? I think Wii U capped out at, like, literally just... I think it was, say, 13 million sales or something. They didn't do very good. And it was all because of the fact their naming convention was, like, really fucking dumb, and Wii U was just a really, really poor name choice. It was too close to Wii. Nobody knew what the hell it actually was. Hey, Anime Traps. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. We're just talking games and stuff, and also somebody here had a birthday, so we were discussing birthday parties and gifts and stuff for a little bit. Welcome to the stream. I don't know. You can say it's good, but I'm gonna disagree. I'll let the sales speak for what they're themselves. They end up selling better than I'm expecting, then yeah, then I guess they managed to prove their point, but their name is ridiculously close to the Xbox One X. There's bound to be consumer confusion about, what's the right word? Well, yeah, bound to be I can't speak right today. Consumer confusion abound, that's right, yeah, there we go. Like, there's gonna be people who don't understand that Xbox Series X and Xbox One X are not the same console. And that's going to probably result in some sales loss. Just ask Nintendo. Also, while we're on the same topic, I hope if you guys agree with me on the fact that, like, fucking new 3DS is like one of the worst names there's for like a console ever. It is legit one of the stupidest things I've seen Nintendo do for a console name. It's like, why would you think in any circumstance this is a good idea? Apparently it was like related to like Japanese marketing and like somebody up at Nintendo like assuming that like because new isn't like a proper word in Japan that it was like a good naming scheme. It's like I feel like they didn't do literally any research into the definition of the word and like how this would sound in other markets. It's like, yeah, there's not going to be any confusion with this name. It's like, no, this name is fucking terrible. This is a worse name than Wii U. And there's going to be like countless people that probably would have bought it that ended up not getting it because they didn't know what the fuck they were buying. It's like, that was a dumb name. A really, really dumb name. Yeah. I'm glad you guys agree with that at least. That's one that I can't see how you can defend the name New 3DS. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, hold on a second. Oh, you got shiny Regidrago? Nice, actually. And I'm looking forward to getting into hunting those Pokemon myself. After I get my hands on, let's see. Oh yeah, after I get Kyogre, I'm gonna do like Isle of Armor stuff, and from there, once I get my like following Pokemon unlocked, then we'll start tracking after some of the Regis. Although I'm taking a break between Kyogre and like Reggie hunting. I don't think I can do like 3 hunts back to back. I think I would burn out doing that much. I'm taking this thing. This thing's useless against Kyogre. Hi there. Welcome to the stream. Got a shiny Mewtwo. Cool. I have shiny Mewtwo as well. I got mine back in Let's Go when I was shiny hunting it. Pretty fun experience. It didn't take too long. Only like 4 hours of hunting it. Not bringing it over to Sword and Shield though, since it's supposed to be part of a shiny living dex. Let me see what's going on here. This message. The concept. Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with you. They didn't really make the selling points like that great. I kind of don't know if I feel like I got my money's worth buying it. Like, the things they offered for the new 3DS were... Oh, excuse me. But the things they offered for the new 3DS were kind of like very, very minimalistic changes that weren't really super worthwhile. It was like a bit beefier, ran some games a little better, and then on top of that, like they're like... a few things like that, some minor adjustments to the button layout and like SNES games, I think, and they promised like some exclusives on it. It's like, yeah, this was not a very good upgrade. It didn't really end up like selling you much. If you bought it, you just got like a tiny handful of new stuff at absolute best. It wasn't exactly a great console upgrade. It's not like it was the worst, but it wasn't that good either. You got it in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Cool. I've never had the courage to go through shiny hunting in one of the older games. I've tried like doing some stuff a little bit, but I can't stomach the idea of sitting down and trying to go through like 1 out of 4,000 or 1 out of 8,000 odds and sit there and like reset on a shiny hunt over and over again. Oh my god. We're losing a lot of attack power right now because of this Raichu. Nobody can attack it with any attack that's electric other than the Raichu. Whatever. Honestly, I'm kind of excited to be doing this. It's not like the big deal, but like I'm enjoying this DLC considering that this is the first time I've actually had a good chance, I feel like, to sit down and, like, shiny hunt a bunch of legendaries that I've had interest in. I think the one I'm really wanting to get is Rayquaza, though. Rayquaza looks fucking awesome, and that's probably going to be one of my next few targets, like, really, really soon. I've got to say, even though I didn't really love Sword and Shield, the DLC, like, especially Crown Tundra, this whole thing with, yeah, let's see, the whole thing with, like, Dynamax Adventures, like, in general, this has actually been a very, very good change, and, like, this alone is actually a pretty decent sell on the DLC. Is it enough to be $30 worth of, like, content? No, but, like, I'd say with the rest of the DLC, this is, like, at least a good $10 probably of price all by itself with how good it is. And the rest of the Crown Tundra makes up for it, in my opinion. I don't like Isle of Armor quite as much, but still. Let me see. Sorry if I'm, like, missing any messages. I'm not, like, reading chat super quickly. I'm not intending to slow down and ignore any chat messages. Just, like, got a lot I'm trying to focus on and not trying to rush things. I want to try and talk about quite a few things. Oh, by the way, I was going to talk about, like, some stuff like books and, like, shows a little more, because I wanted to talk about that for just a little while. I've been, like, having a very, very fun morning overall. I'd spent most of my day so far just sitting down and, like, watching One Piece, and I've got to say I don't regret it, because I'm, like, in the middle of season 10 right now and trying to, like, catch up with, like, the Punk Hazard stuff, and I've been really, really loving it. I think it's why I like it, is because I just enjoy, like, seeing how each arc progresses, seeing, like, the villains, and seeing how they overcome, like, each new obstacle. It's really goddamn good. Right now, I want to do, like, raids if people are up for it, but we need, like, a minimum of at least 3 of us to be doing this. I don't want to start with 2 people, because if I do 2, then it's possible things won't go very well. I was doing that with Groudon, and we ended up losing more times than we did win. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to be a problem with Kyogre, but I mean, the AI is really fucking stupid, and with only 2 people in the raid, I don't really trust the AI to do a very good job, so if we can get somebody else who wants to join, then yeah, I'll do this, and we can set up for a raid. Right now, I'm not doing any, like, chat until we've got at minimum 3 that want to participate. As in, shouldn't specify that I mean 3 including myself, though. That way there's no confusion. I'll be helping out, obviously. Okay, there we go. No shiny yet. Gotta go. Alright, well, take care then. Thanks for dropping by. Still be here for some time. Oh, man. Don't you just love it, though? Since we're talking about shows, and you have, like, a really good show, you find something that's it's fun to watch, and then you end up binge-watching it, because you love, like, seeing how it develops, seeing more and more of the story. It feels good to find a show that hits that spot, like, perfectly, and you can just keep watching and watching because you enjoy the story that much. Speaking of that exact thing, what are some good shows you guys have watched that, like, you would say are good for binge watching? Just curious to hear. You don't have anything you want to talk about, it's okay. Just wanted to ask, see if there's any answers for that you guys think of. Let's see. Think on a few things that I want to talk about in the meantime. I've been meaning to try and do, like, a thing about talking about books at some point, too, actually. Like, I wanted to talk actually, I don't know what to... Give me a second. I'm getting a little bit frustrated and confused because I'm being a little bit dumb here, not, like, thinking my thoughts fully out before I finish it. Yeah, sorry. Like I was saying, I wanted to talk books for a little bit because I never really got around to doing that at any point, and I was thinking about some stories I remembered. Is everything okay in the chat? Just checking. I don't see any other messages. Anyway, whatever. I'll go back to the shows thing in a little bit. Let's talk about books, because I actually enjoyed talking about this. You guys remember any, like, really good books you've read? Like, fiction, non-fiction, whatever, just, like, different stuff you read over, like, your life. It can be stuff you read in high school, read after high school, just whatever, doesn't matter. If you want to hear any stories you guys remember, if you want to share. If not, it's not a big deal. I remember, like, quite a few books that I actually really, really enjoyed. I can't recall what the name of this one is, but it was a good one. I think it was, like, The Hatchet or something as, like, a movie, or not, well, it got an adaptation for a movie, but, like, I think it was, like, a kid that got, like, stuck in, like, a plane crash or something, or it was just, like a jet, like a helicopter, like as one person, the pilot, and he got stuck in the wilderness alone, had to survive for quite some time alone, like, using this hatchet and, like, hunting wildlife, as well as, like, just learning to, like, survive by himself. It was a really, really good book and really, really interesting. It had a pretty believable story, too. I ended up enjoying reading it. I don't know if that's the right name or not. I'll have to check and see about that, and I'll get back to you guys on that one. Another one I remember really well was The Great Gatsby. Unfortunately, for some reason, when I think of this book, I can't quite remember the details of it super clearly. I just remember reading it. Like, I remember it's about, like, a billionaire, and I remember, like, the main character, maybe he's a millionaire, it doesn't matter, but, like, the main character wasn't him, it was like a friend of his, and it was talking about this guy's life, and I think near the end, like, he ended up dying, and is talking about his legacy. I forget all the overlying plot. I wish I could remember the story clearly, because it's good, it's really goddamn good, but I can't remember, like, much of it, unfortunately. It was a fun book to read, though. I enjoyed it. Let's see. Weirdly, I think a lot of the others are... Well, I remember a few stories that are not that bad. Like I say, a lot of the ones I remember, like, I remember a lot of childhood books, like, more than I do, like, books from when I was older. I remember, like, reading, like, some stuff based on, like, plays, or maybe plays is just the right word. Like, I recall we read Romeo and Juliet, which, I mean, I don't feel like anybody needs to be introduced to Romeo and Juliet unless they are, like, really, really young and haven't had a chance to see the book before. But yeah, that's a very, very well-known story. Also read, I think it's called Hamlet. Let's see. I can't remember the name of it. What's the one with Julius Caesar? We read that as well. There were a whole bunch of these different, like, things we read over time. Some pretty good ones that I enjoyed reading. There was one I remember that was really creepy, though. That was, I think it was supposed to be a kid's book. I want to talk about this one. It was based on the, like, old legend about the Midas Touch. You guys know about that story, right? I'm sure some of you guys have never heard of it, but, like, yeah, there's a story for anybody who's not in the know about this king. Hold on a second, I need to check on a thing on the page. I just want to make sure that nothing's broken. I'm a little concerned that the chat may not be working, and I want to make absolutely certain. I think it's okay, I can't tell though, there's not really any messages going back and forth. But anyway, yeah, it's about a king who ends up with, like, wishing that he could, I think it's like he wishes for more wealth, and he ends up getting a power for, like, anything he touches turns to gold. It ends up being a curse, though. Really, really interesting read. I don't recall exactly how it ended, but I'm pretty sure the story ended up in, like, a tragedy for the king. Like, it was basically a story about be careful what you wish for. And then this other story that I was going to mention actually relates directly to the Midas Touch thing. This is a really old one, and I don't remember the name of it. This is it's a book, and, like, this kid, like, gets his power. It's basically, I think anything he, like, touches, like, I don't know if it's like he touches it, or if it's he eats it, or what, like, or something along the lines, he It can turn like anything to chocolate, and it's just like the Midas Touch story, except it's really, really weird, and it's like the kid ends up wanting this because he likes the taste of chocolate a lot, ends up like regretting it after like a little bit of time because, spoiler, eating nothing but chocolate and then not being able to eat anything else ends up not being a very good thing after like a little bit. It doesn't take the kid long to realize that he's getting sick of the taste. I think there's something along the lines of tasting it, how it worked. I couldn't tell you the exact details because I haven't read this book in so goddamn long that I don't remember the specifics. There was one part that was really fucked though, with this kid like doing all this stuff, and like I remember he kissed his mom or something and like turned her into chocolate by accident. It was a kind of a fucked up like bit in the story. I don't remember the resolution at all. It was a weird story, and it was a kid story, I think. I'm gonna see if I can find the name of this just so I can like mention this in detail, because I'm genuinely curious. One second. Yeah, let me see what this says when I Google it. It's called The Chocolate Touch. I'm gonna just read this like synopsis on it in a second and see what it says, just because I'm curious. I haven't read this in a while. Maybe this will like remind me a little bit of what this is about. Oh yeah, this is like a direct reference to the Midas Touch. I'm looking at the synopsis. Chocolate Touch is a children's book by Patrick, I don't know how this name says from Patrick Steen Catling, first published in the US in 1952. John Midas is delighted when through a magical gift, everything his lips touch turns into chocolate. Yeah, that name, totally not a reference. Anyway, stories pattern at the king, amid the King Midas, whose magic and then into gold. Okay, I thought they would like give me a little more details, but whatever. I thought they were gonna like talk about the plot of it a little more. It's an interesting book, though. If you have any interest in checking it out, it might be a good read. It's a little bit on the weird side. For reference, again, just in case anybody didn't hear the name and they wanted to check it out, it's called The Chocolate Touch. Weird story. I mean, really weird story, but I don't mind. Hang on a second. Just checking on one little thing on here. I'm gonna double check a small thing on the stream page while I'm doing this. Feel free to bring up any stories you guys remember. I don't know why the chat's like silent right now. I'm more than happy to discuss stuff with you guys. I haven't seen any chat activity. Let's see. Yeah, you know how kids book. Actually, I was gonna say, I don't know if this is the right way to approach this. I was gonna mention something about kids books. I might hold off for a second, or I don't know. But yeah, like, I guess I'm change the topic a little bit. What are some good kid stories you guys remember? Like stuff you enjoyed reading as a kid? I remember I read the Berenstain Bears quite a bit. That was a fun story series to read as a kid. Pretty interesting one. A lot of kids' books are like really, really simplistic though. Not really a lot of depth in them, even if some of them are pretty good. I think I may have been missing my ground attacks. I don't even realized it. Fucking lovely. May have been wasting my time trying to use Max Quake on this thing. Like, when did I do that and not hit it? I don't think so, but I'm not actually sure. Whatever. Anyway, back to the topic I was talking about. I don't know, I can't remember any kids book I read that had like a lot of story, like in detail in it. Like, a lot of kids book are just really simple. I don't remember who made these. There was like a series of stories. Any of you guys read them? Like they were little things, like they had like Mr. or Mrs. and it was like a bunch of stories where it's like about these like characters, and they all had like one-dimensional personalities, and it was like about these characters that had like they focused their whole personality on one character trait, and they're all meant for kids in like kindergarten to like maybe 3rd or 4th grade at most. They were really short as a result. I don't know if there's like a proper name to this series or not. Those were interesting. I read those a lot as a kid, but I gotta say, overall, they weren't the most exciting to read. If anybody is listening, what's the one kid story you can remember like the clearest, just out of curiosity? There's a lot of kid stories. It's very, very easy to remember them, but like, which one is the one that has the most impact on your memory? I'm just curious to hear. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. I think the ones I would remember most are probably like ones that are made by like Disney or whatever. Snow White's pretty decent because it's got like a fairly thought out story. That's one. Let's see. Cinderella's not bad. Same with a lot of their stuff like that. I'm just thinking like specifically storybook stuff though, not movies. I'm not actually sure how many of their stories are like, or how many of their movies or stuff that started off as stories or not. Disney's got a lot of good stuff though. Okay, I think I'm ready to change the topic again and talk about something else for a little bit, since why the hell not talk about different subject. We're talking about TV shows actually, and like I feel like that's a good thing to go back to. Let's see though. I'm trying to think on some stuff that's really good. Give me a second while I think on this, because I want to see if there's any I can remember, since I mentioned the topic of like really addictive shows, and I want to see if there's any that I remember that I watched that I was younger that I really, really loved, that I like tried to watch all the time. Because I remember I mentioned a lot of shows I like, but I can't think of one that I was glued to watching TV for and ended up always wanting to watch. There were a lot of good ones though. I think most of my stuff that I watched like regularly was probably like stuff on Toonami. There's a lot of good stuff there. A lot of the animes they showed. Plot lines were simple enough to follow and pretty good. This is one thing I do get a little tired of on the stream. It's not a big deal, but like I try to engage in topics in the chat and then nobody responds to it. Nobody seems to listen to what I'm talking about. Sometimes it can be a little depressing. It's like I'm trying my best to make things interesting, but without any chat and like any attempt to make things good, it feels like it just falls on deaf ears. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I just don't feel like I'm getting anywhere sometimes, and it feels rough sitting here talking and feeling like I'm not getting a response. But I'm not gonna focus on that too much. I'm sure I mentioned it before, Megas XLR. That was one show I remember that was really fucking good. One that I really loved watching. That was a show that came on Toonami like, I don't know when. It was probably several years into its run. It was one of the like OG shows. Really silly and really goofy show, but also really goddamn interesting. Whole thing about, it was like a guy that turned like he took his car and basically turned to a giant robot. Like, I think the plot was something about, like, some woman ended up coming to Earth, or coming to Earth or something, came like another dimension or some shit. She came from a different place than the main characters with this giant robot, and, like, got stuck with them because of this guy basically inserting his car into the robot. Very, very weird, interesting plot line. Hey, welcome back, Wayne. It looks like you might be a little behind unless I can't really tell. Yeah, for things like Dr. Seuss. Cordery? Is that oh, you're talking about, oh, that's Dr. Seuss. I'm thinking about his Arthur, like his name and not just his Arthur name. I've never actually heard anybody like refer to Dr. Seuss outside of like his Arthur name by like his actual name. Like I think this is the first time I've seen somebody actually use his real name, because I know Dr. Seuss isn't it. Dr. Seuss books were interesting. They were really short and really simple. They weren't anything complicated, but they were decent reads. I remember reading some of those when I was younger. Some alright stories. Cat in the Hat was a pretty good one. There was the Lorax. Let's see, what else am I not remembering? Those are the two that I can remember the most clearly. Oh yeah, the Grinch. How could I forget? The Grinch is like practically the biggest Dr. Seuss book because of the fact that pretty much everybody knows it because it's a Christmas special, and on top of that, it's shown all the time, and we've had like, what, 2 or 3 remakes of the Grinch already on, like we've had the one movie, and now we've got at least 2 live-action remakes of it. Or actually, was the second? I think the second one was CGI, but still, like, my point is pretty clear. Didn't they try to make a new Grinch movie like a few years back, or am I misremembering? I could have sworn there was like some studio that was making a movie about the Grinch, and I think they advertised it as being like a prequel movie to it, which is really, really weird. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. I don't feel like there's any need to keep remaking old movies all the time. Something I don't really care about when it comes to movies. Hollywood seems to have an obsession with it, though. They do it all the fucking time. Meanwhile, with video games, it seems like you can barely ever see, like, really cool and really good, like, remakes. They happen every now and then, but not that often. Ooh. I don't know what's best for our team right now. I feel like I don't know if I should take this or not. Maybe I'll let the guy with the comfy take it from here instead. I haven't been keeping up with, like, movies in some time, so I mean, can't remember, like, a lot of big ones. One that came to mind, though. I'm not going to discuss that too much. Dr. Seuss books are an interesting topic. We could talk about that for a while, and some of the recent movies have been pretty decent. I remember the Lorax movie. I saw some of that, and it was alright. I don't remember it being something I really loved watching, but that was pretty good. Any of you guys, like, watched, like, some of the, I'd say weird, I don't know if this is the right word or not, though, some of the, like, really different and really interesting kids programs out there? One of the, I don't remember, like, a whole lot of them, but I remember one that I liked when I was younger, and it was this show, I think it was on Spike TV or something. There was one where the whole thing was, like, it was something called Ghost Rider or something, and it was about a group of kids, and, like, some, I don't know what the description of this was, like, there's a thing, I don't know how you call this, but it, like, wrote on walls, like, I guess it was supposed to be, like, a spirit that was, like, communicating with these kids, and it would, like, help them with certain things, and there were, like, problems in the stories, or weird stuff going on, and this thing would, like, communicate with them and talk to them, and it'd be used for, like, interesting plot devices in the story. It was a really, really weird story, but it also happened to have an interesting, like, it had a nice, I can't think of the right name for this. Well, it had a nice draw to it. Like, it made me interested in it and made me want to keep watching more of it, and I watched it fairly frequently. I'm not going to say it was a great show, because I don't know if I'd like it now, but, like, something about this show kept me coming back to it, and I watched it quite a bit. Can't say exactly what it was that I loved about it, though. It was addictive, just in not the kind of way that I'm used to seeing things that I talk about as addictive. Trying to think there's one more big one, so I haven't named a lot of shows that I wanted to mention that really fit this criteria. If I hadn't already mentioned it, I would go into Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a prime example of this. I feel like I'd watched that show so much, and I enjoyed watching, like, more and more of it. The plotline was fairly good for a kid show, and it kept everyone who was interested in, like, hooked on it for some time, so I'd say it did its job really, really well. Come to think of it, I'm just thinking, like, on old cartoons I watched, were there that many shows that actually had, like, any emphasis on story? Because then I, like, actually sit down and think about that. I can name, like, maybe 2 cartoons that I can think of off the top of my head that actually had, like, a storyline to them and were, like, simple enough to follow. Whereas most of the rest of the stuff was like really dumb stuff that was dumbed down to be really easy to follow for little kids, and they never really went into any depth with the story as a result of it. I'm trying to think if there's any exceptions I can think of, though, because I think pretty much everything I watched had that to it. Yeah, I can't name one that I can think of that was like actually pursuing like a decent storyline. I remember actually I watched a lot of Power Rangers when I was younger, not like a whole lot, but I remember watching like some of the seasons and really liking them. I wasn't like a huge Power Rangers fan. I got fairly absorbed in some of the seasons though, and they were really good. I didn't watch the original. It's kind of hard to like say they're great because it felt like the Power Rangers took the same basic plot line like every fucking time they did a brand new series, so it was like, yeah, this might be a little better if they tried spicing it up a little bit rather than putting it in with the same plot line of like, oh, there's a big bad guy and they're summoning aliens to attack and it's up to these teenagers or whatever to go stop them. It's like, it was always the same with like a slight twist on it. It's not like I didn't like it, I just didn't find it to be that entertaining, to be completely honest. It was kind of in my opinion. At least some of them were good. The one I remember like actually watching somewhat frequently, I think there was one about like these, they had like dinosaur themed like powers or something. That was one I remember pretty decently. I think most people here have like actually watched Power Rangers. So here's a question. I'm not even talking about it too much, but like, what's your favorite Power Rangers incarnation? Like, what's one you remember a Power Ranger series that you watched and you actually enjoyed? Oh, actually, you know what? I was talking about addictive cartoons. I almost completely forgot. There are at least a few that I can remember now, but only one's coming to mind right away. TMNT was fucking good. I remember that now. TMNT I watched a ton. That show was addictive. I think that was based on a comic. I remember like tuning in like every time it was on to like try and catch up the story. Like I loved seeing where it was going, even though it kind of got a little bit confusing like the more and more it went on. The whole Shredder is like immortal plotline got really fucking weird after like so much time, and it's like, okay, yeah, the story got a little bit too crazy to keep following. I don't completely understand what the fuck they're doing anymore with it. It was good though, like watching it for quite some time, and they managed to make it pretty entertaining, I'd say. Oh man, I haven't like watched many of like the reboots or like other attempts at making TMNT stories. Although, I remember that fucking Michael Bay thing, that looked atrocious. Ugh. Hi there, welcome to stream. So sad, what? I'm not sure what you're talking about here, but welcome nonetheless, I guess. Feel free to join us in talking about stuff like shows, books, or whatever. Also, just doing some general shiny hunting. Okay, where was I? Let's see. Let's go back to the movie topic for a little bit, because I want to talk about shows, but if I'm not thinking of like a lot to talk of, then it's not going to really matter. What's in one of your guys' favorite movie series or favorite just movies you've watched? Like anything you can think of. I remember when I was younger, I watched Harry Potter quite a bit. Like not too much, but I've seen like several of the movies and I enjoyed them quite a bit. Hold on a second. I don't see anything good here. None of these look like they're particularly helpful. Maybe Arachnid. Need one Pokemon for 1 month and you can't get it? I mean, I'd help you, but in a shiny hunting stream especially, I'm not really looking to do any trading. And unfortunately, I think the only other person here doesn't even have, like, the game, so not really anybody here who can do anything about that. If I get this Kyogre, like, I might maybe be able to check and see if I have what you need. It's really a dependency on if I get my shiny, but right now I kind of don't want to throw away any extra time towards trying to do my shiny hunt. It can add up if I take out time to help anybody who comes by the stream and asks for it. Ready Player One. I've never actually watched that, but I've heard, like, good things about it. I'll watch it sometime. I think it's like a movie about games. I've never seen it, though. I feel like when I'm not saying like a video game movie, like it's about games, like usually the game-based movies are always weird and not really that fun to watch. Some of them like feel like they don't really understand a fucking thing about video games, and somebody who's trying to attempt to relate to like kids or somebody who plays games not actually having like quite a grasp on what people like about video games. Not always, but like I've noticed that with at least a few different movies like that. Yeah, I know what you mean about that. I think I mentioned that to an extent earlier. I watched a few different Power Ranger spin-offs. I didn't recall really loving any of them. Didn't they make a Power Rangers movie like a year or two ago, I think? Like, I remember Twitch like advertising for this Power Rangers movie, and like nobody really cared too much. I think they had like a marathon or some shit, and I guess it got a little bit of attention, but I don't think anybody went out to really watch this, and like I think it was like reviewed as like it's not really that great of a movie. I'm not surprised that it ended up getting like negative reception, though, to be honest. I mean, you can tell when somebody puts up a revival and it's like fucking totally half-assed. I didn't actually watch it, though, and I'm not the biggest Power Rangers fan, so I don't really know how the movie is, but assuming from the general reception, I can tell it's probably not that great. Or was it's not Harry Potter. So what's everyone's favorite Harry Potter movie? Assuming you guys have watched it, but there's like 7 or 8 movies. I'm sure most of the people here have seen at least one of the Harry Potter movies. I've seen like, let's see, what can I remember? I've seen the first one. I've seen the second one. I've seen a little bit of the third one, not it, and I haven't watched it all together, which I need to. I've seen bits and pieces of the 4th movie, which I also need to watch. I watched the 5th movie, and I'm not sure if I watched any others that came after the 5th movie or not. Harry Potter was a pretty fun, like, series of books and movies to keep up with, in my opinion. It was entertaining enough and had a decent plot line. Like, I enjoyed the stuff. I remember there was like a game on, I think it was GameCube or whatever. They had like a game where there was like one of those, it was like focused on the little sports game in that universe, the whole Quidditch thing. I think I remember that had like a game based on that, and there was like the Harry Potter games. Like, it's crazy to me they actually managed to make like a thing that was only like a small focus of the movie into a video game, because the plot, or not the plot, I guess the idea behind like sport for the movie was like thought out well enough that it could be entertaining. And it was kind of fun to watch it too. Let's see. Rat powder, Lepaberry, oh, expert belt. Yeah, we'll take that, thank you. Only one you remember watching Power Rangers Dino Thunder? Yeah, I think the Dinosaur one was the one I remember watching too. I don't remember like pretty much any of the others. Like I try to remember them, and I don't remember any of them by name. I just remember like slight bits and details of the shows at absolute best. It's not like they were terrible, but just none of them stuck it out to me. None of them were things that I found that entertaining otherwise. I don't know. Is Power Rangers even still active anymore? I'm assuming like Power Rangers was probably like lost a lot of popularity and doesn't really happen to be on air now. Maybe it's still on air. I don't know. I don't keep up with the show like enough to actually know if they're doing any new series of it, but as far as I can tell, I don't think there has been one in some time. Oh man. One of these days, since I was talking about Harry Potter, I want to sit down and watch all the Harry Potter movies I haven't watched. I remember when I was watching Chamber of Secrets. Hold on a second. I'm going to check something, but I think I remember like sitting down and watching it, and like the movie was like 5 or 6 hours long. Hold on a second, maybe more actually. Cause I remember I went down to watch it in the theater, and like like I remember watching for a little bit, and it's like, holy shit, this movie is way longer than I thought it was. I remember we're waiting forever. I thought it was like 2 hours. I mean, maybe okay, it was 2 hours. I remember. I guess I was a kid and things felt longer. I remember sitting there watching for so long and like just trying to slowly keep up the plot line, but there was like so much of it that it felt like it was taking forever to like go through it. I remember as a kid that I was like watching, it's like, oh my god, I'm surprised this movie is still going, because most of the stuff I'd watched felt like it ended a lot sooner than that. It was pretty good and pretty interesting though, but like it felt like it was really long. Really long. Let's see, I'm curious in comparison, since I've seen the first two and I said the 5. I'm curious what the the actual original's length time is in comparison. Apparently it's about like 15-20 minutes shorter. Not surprised that it's that much shorter. I haven't seen that series in a long time. God damn. Wasn't there like yeah, once they finished all the books, didn't the author like make another Harry Potter book and then ended up like getting really poorly received? Like it was some attempt to like write another book and try to continue things after the ending wasn't like super well received. I think I remember there were like people ignoring the last Harry Potter book that was released. This is apparently really badly written. Oh man. I didn't think I would even talk about that today. I guess I just remembered it all of a sudden. It was a pretty decent series of like books and movies though, so I mean, it's not like it wasn't worth bringing up. It's a pretty good one in my opinion. Movie I enjoyed, and one that was a fun watch when I went out to see movies. Stuck out in my memory pretty well too. Oh man, you guys remember the Spy Kids movies? I remember watching those back in the day. They weren't anything special, but I remember like I went out to watch them, and even though they were dumb and kind of silly, like they didn't have the best plot line, I remember watching them and finding them pretty fun. All goofy stuff and really dumb. The plot line wasn't like super important. I remember the third movie, they tried like a gimmick with like 3D, and everybody who came in had like the 3D glasses. That was a silly movie. I swear I remember that movie just specifically for the meme value and like nothing else. I remember them like doing that stupid joke of like, oh, if you die in the game, you die in real life. I think everybody remembered that movie just because of that shit. Good. Yeah, I don't disagree with these. Spy Kids was kind of cringy even when I look back on it. Like, I watched it as a kid, but I think I was, like, too dumb as a kid to actually care about, like, the actual plot line. I didn't really care because I was just entertained very easily. It was a weird movie to watch. I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And I still watch that other movie they made, like, after they did the like Spy Kids series over there, that Shark Boy and Lava Girl thing, and I went to watch that as well. That wasn't exactly anything better. It was alright though. I think they had 3D going for that as well. That was a fucking weird experience. Like, I still remember slight bits of that movie, but that was a strange ass movie to say the least. Something I kind of don't know if I'm glad I remembered or not. I wonder who directed those movies. I don't think it's a spin-off. I think it has like some of the same actors in it. Like, I think the kids are like maybe the same kids that are in the Spy Kids movie. I'm not really certain, but it's by the same person, I think. And also, well, shit, this is stronger before I attack. Let me see. Yeah, it is. I'm just gonna hit it with this then. But yeah, it was. I think it's just by the same person who made Spy Kids, and it's got like I think a few of the same actors. It's not really like a spin-off as far as I can tell. I think it was just meant to be a differing story, maybe set in another, like the same universe or something. I'm not sure. I remember the whole thing was like, it was like the main character's like some kid with an overactive imagination. These characters are like part of the story he made up. That's about the biggest point I can remember in it. It was stupid. It was interesting though, but not like a great show or great movie, excuse me. I could talk about these movies for a while. There's some good ones that I remember. There's one thing I do remember really well, like out of movies, and it might have just been me, but I remember like that Cats versus Dogs movie really well. The plot line was silly, really dumb, especially the whole idea of cats and dogs going to this war and like cats secretly being evil. But I remember really liking that as a kid. I loved seeing like the interactions of the dog and the main character and like how they bonded over the movie. And the ending was really, really good. It's just really silly plot line, and yet it worked so well. I think that's why it worked well, is it was goofy enough that it was really enjoyable without being too dumb. That's a really, really hard line to draw too, though, is like getting a setup for your like story where you end up making it where it's not serious, but it's also something serious enough that you can actually like enjoy watching it or enjoy reading it either. I don't feel like a lot of movies or shows are able to like balance that line very carefully. Oh man. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if there's any more that I want to talk about. If you guys have anything you want to mention movie-wise or show-wise or anything like that you want to talk about, feel free to bring it up. I'm just bringing up movies that I remembered really well. Right now, though, I can't think of, like, any other really good ones right off the top of my head. I do remember watching a lot of the James Bond movies back when I was younger. I remember at certain points, like, I would sit down and watch movies with my parents, and, like, we'd watch, like, stuff that we rented for pay-per-view or whatever, and, like, a lot of those were, like, differing James Bond movies, but I remember the plots very loosely, and I remember they felt like they kind of blended together because the stories are kind of same-ish in a lot of them. They weren't really bad, just they, like I said, they were really, really similar. I think the one I remember, or like the most, might have been Goldenfinger or whatever, but I'm not sure because it's hard to remember like the exact details of it. I remember, like, the one I remember the most was, like, the one that introduced that, what was his name? I can't remember what it's called. The guy that has, like, the really big metal jaw or whatever. I can't remember what his name was, but he was, like, one of the henchmen for one of the villains. And I remember, like, he was introduced in one of the Bond movies I saw, and that was one I remembered somewhat well. Also, I never played a GoldenEye as a kid. I know a lot of people are, like, really familiar with GoldenEye, not for the movie, but for the video game. I never played GoldenEye, though. Hey, Ember. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Been going for a while. Been talking about movies and TV shows and whatnot. I just started talking a little bit about some James Bond stuff. I think I played, like, maybe 2 of those, actually, the James Bond things. I remember I played, like, I think it's called Nightfire or whatever, the GameCube one. That one was fun. Me and my brother and, like, some friends played that, like, pretty often, and I don't know why, but I got addicted to playing that. I thought it was a lot of fun to play it. The story for, like, the single player wasn't terrible either to boot, even if it wasn't, like, amazing. I think the other one I played was, like, the remake of GoldenEye on, like, the Wii. I don't know if you guys remember that very well. I picked that up, and I remember playing through it for a while, and I got stuck on it because I couldn't understand what they wanted me to do in the story. Like, there was, like, one part, I think, with the camera or something, and I couldn't get the game to progress when I was trying to use the camera. I never really bought it. I think I played it in my brother's, like, some time ago. He had, like, quite a few Wii games I never actually got myself. Last thing I remember from James Bond was, like, a I think it was a Wii game or something. Like, it was like a compilation of like older games or something. Like, it was like scenes from older games, and apparently it like was received really poorly. How's everybody doing today? I don't think I asked. Hope you're all having a good day. Also, I saw earlier that you got Age of Calamity on the Discord. Congrats on it. Hope you're enjoying it. I'm still a little bit sore that I can't get it right now. I'd like to. I enjoyed Hyrule Warriors on Wii quite a bit, and I found that I was having a really good time playing it. I wish I could be joining in on the fun of playing Age of Calamity, but I mean, I wouldn't be streaming it right now either way. I want to continue and try to get this shiny hunt over with first before I do anything else anyway. I mean, I'm not back to regularly streaming in the first place. It's real fun. That's good to hear. I had to get the rest of your presents later tonight for your... Oh yeah, Wayne has a birthday today. And he just now mentioned that before I forgot. Like, he mentioned it earlier in the stream. Oh man, I enjoyed playing like the original Hyrule Warriors so much. It was a fucking fun as hell game. I was surprised when I checked on videos online, and apparently Age of Calamity actually has like more playable characters than the original does. Or maybe it wasn't more, but they had like a sizable cast of characters apparently, so that alone's already caught my attention. There's one thing I'm concerned about, but I don't know if anybody here can even answer it in the first place, and that's like apparently there's like no adventure map in this game, and that was a big thing in the original Hyrule Warriors, where you could like use the adventure map to play for like some extra content and like all these like bonus things that weren't really too related to the main story. And the fact that's supposedly not actually in the new game is like a little bit worrying to hear there's no adventure map. I hope whatever they've got for like a replacement is good. I know there's like some I think there's like a few missions scattered around the world map you can do like optional missions, but I don't know if they're actually like a whole bunch of them for that extra time on it. It's not like it's a big deal if it doesn't add too much, because I mean, even if it's short, it's not a big deal. I don't think the adventure map is like a big feature in like a lot of Warriors games. I think it was mainly a thing that got introduced in Hyrule Warriors and made its way into Fire Emblem Warriors as well, so I think that's more tradition. I'm assuming like the new game, like Age of Calamity, has like side quests mostly, and is like probably you can clock in around 100 hours and get quite a bit of content, but it's probably shorter than like how the original Hyrule Warriors was. That game had a lot to do. I think I probably logged like 500 hours alone or something on the Wii version, like playing through all the adventure map content and beating it all. There was just so much of it. I hope I didn't forget to log an encounter on here. I don't remember if I got one or two today, and I don't remember if I forgot any. I may have like finished one and not remember to update the counter. Oh well, whatever, not a big deal. It's not like it's gonna matter that much. But yeah. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, we're talking about Hyrule Warriors. If you never played like the first one that came out on Wii U and got re-released on 3DS, where they made like the definitive edition, like that's a pretty decent game. If you want to have more after you beat like Age of Calamity, that's actually a game that's pretty worth checking out. It's not quite the same. It's not like it's an important storyline connecting to another Zelda game. It's more fan servicey than this game is, but it's also a very, very good little spin-off game to play. It's got a lot of content in it too, so it's like if you want to play more after this, you can look into like Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. That's a good game. Pretty decently priced with like a ton of content to it, so I recommend it. I wonder, actually I'm curious, I wonder what the general, like, not in general, I wonder what the time is for like most people. I wonder what the average finishing time is. I'm going to check on how long to beat. I'm assuming it's got like a 20 or 30 hour story maybe. I know they added like quite a bit to the Hyrule, like the first Hyrule Warrior story when they did it, like the 3DS version. So I'm curious what this one's totals up to. Let's see. I wonder if this pops up when I just search Age of Calamity. Apparently it's, like, I don't know if this is accurate, but apparently according to how long to beat, it's like 21 to 23 hours maybe. That's a little bit on the short side, that's true. I don't see a completionist, like, thing on this so far for, like, totaling in all the extras. I'm guessing nobody's got that far with it so far. That's kind of like a little short, though, from what I was expecting. I don't mind entirely, just, I don't know, I was hoping to have somewhere at least comparable to the original one, considering that had, like, a lot of hours logged in it, and even the main story alone gave you a lot of time. Oh, man. While we're on this subject, here's a fun thing to talk about. Okay, I don't know what to pick here. There's nothing really good. I guess I'll do this. But yeah, what games have you guys logged the most hours on like, your Switch? Or, in general, like, what are some games you put a lot of hours into? You don't have to necessarily name a Switch game. I have a lot that I put a lot of hours into. Hyrule Warriors isn't even, like, the one I put it the most hours I can think into, either. If I had to, like, think outside of, like, Switch stuff, I think I put in, like, more hours than any other game, probably into Gary's mod. I'm not sure about it, though. I played that game a lot, and I do enjoy it. I keep coming back to it, 'cause it's a pretty good multiplayer game. I used to really, really be addicted to TF2, but I kind of got over it after, like, so much time. It was fun while I played it, but, like, I stopped enjoying it, and also I didn't want to waste money on microtransactions, so I just kind of gave up on playing it because I felt like I was not making good decisions playing that game. For all the time I got out of it, though, it was really enjoyable. Is chat okay? Don't see any messages, just gotta check. Give me a second, actually, I'm just gonna reload the page, maybe check a thing or two on the stat page in the meantime, then continue talking about some stuff while I'm doing this. I guess it's natural I logged, like, a bunch of hours over, like, multiplayer games, though they're meant to be, they played quite a lot. Oh, man. I could talk about that topic for a while. There's some fun topics when you bring this up, like just messing around and you look up at, like, a free-to-play game, you can find fun stuff, or you can look for mods for games you've got. There's so many good games that are just multiplayer out there. You like YouTube? Wait, are you talking about Killing Floor 2 or Team Fortress? I can't tell because I couldn't tell if you made a typo when you were saying that. I'm assuming you are talking about Killing Floor 2. Actually, I do like Killing Floor, and I like the sequel. I haven't played it as much as the original. I picked that up, like, I don't know when. I think I got into it late. I got the first Killing Floor, actually, and I remember I logged a lot of time on it, just sitting there trying out all the different perks on it, trying to get, like, one that I really, really enjoyed, and, like, one that I really liked playing, so I kept swapping back and forth until I figured one out that I could actually work with. Like, it's got a very, very fun, very, very unique, like, gameplay style to it for a zombie game. It's very, very interesting, to say the least. Nothing crazy, nothing amazing, but that was a good one. Also, like, there were so many different varieties of zombies. Let me see. Top 3 Switch games are Mario Kart, Smash. That's more than 3, it looks like, but I mean, I get what you're saying. Mario Kart, Smash, Splatoon, and now seem to be on New Horizons. Cool. I would put Animal Crossing high up on my list, but I kind of got burned out on Animal Crossing. Like, I genuinely feel like I just didn't really get like the most out of it. I played it and I found it to be good and all, but after so much time, I just got sick of playing it because I felt like I was seeing the same lines and whatnot, and nothing really interesting. I felt like I was playing it too much, and then the lack of variety just got to the point where it's like I don't want to play anymore because I feel like I'd seen like all the worthwhile stuff in the game, and I didn't think that sitting there doing like terraforming was going to help me enjoy the game more. It felt like I was just slowly losing that interest because the game couldn't offer anything new. It's alright, but you burn out after so much time. I feel like it's a norm for Animal Crossing. That's where I feel like New Horizons falls really short. It's because even though I don't think it's a bad game, I feel like when it comes to Animal Crossing, I feel like it's one that like you see the end of like all the good bits a little bit quick. Like you get the lack of like different lines from villagers and like run of things to do. It's like there's nothing to return to. It's just something I feel like it's like, well, it gave me maybe 2 or 3 months of gameplay time, but it's like other Animal Crossing games I think like drew me back in over time and got me to play more of them and not like just throw them away. Whereas New Horizons, I kind of just like I can't power myself to like actually play New Horizons again. I just have no urge to boot it up again. I think most of my others I found a reason to play them and I was like in the mood to. But I can't with New Horizons. I just don't feel like I have the will to go back to it. And none of the events have done anything to make me want to go back either. Excuse me. Ugh. Fuck. I thought today and then you're on. Unless, yeah, that's a problem. But I mean, I feel like some games that are like sandbox games do that better than others. Like, especially when I look at like Gmod, like you'd think Gmod would get boring out of like playing it so long, but there's a lot of ways you can like entertain yourself in Gmod. A lot of stupid shit you can do to keep yourself from not wanting to play it. And on top of that, there's like multiple game modes, and there's a very, very active community like making new stuff for the game and making new game modes and like all these things you can check out. It's like there's never a shortage of things to do when you're playing it. You can just check back like another day or two later and you'll probably be able to stumble onto something new somebody's made for like Gary's mod, and you'll have something to do that'll be worth it. If you get sick of playing the main Gmod, go over to the Trouble in Terrorist Town mode. That'll be something that'll keep you occupied for a little bit. That's an easy one. I think there's a zombie mode somebody made that's pretty good too. There's tons of these different game modes that have like different little facets of gameplay that'll just keep you occupied. It's good, really good. Minecraft is also good. Yeah, Minecraft is something you can really be free to do whatever you want. If you want something that's like gives you an objective and gives you like a reason to play, you can go after the story and try messing around. Or if you're more interested in building, you can do that. Or you could go to creative mode or do whatever and like mess around in creative mode a little bit. There's like a lot of possibilities. And if you still like story and you end up beating it, there's not really a problem there. Minecraft seems to be very mod friendly, so just go look for a good mod and install it on your Minecraft, and then boom, you're already set up with like more stuff you can mess around with. And knowing the Minecraft community, there are a lot of custom mods that are built to have like a really, really good structure like that, so finding a story-based mod for Minecraft doesn't seem like it's that hard. Probably pretty easily find some good stuff for it. Like if you need anything, like one of the ones I remember, well, I mentioned it before, the Aether, that's a pretty good one. It's got a lot of new stuff. I think it's got like a bit of story to it, and like that's a really decent mod, I'm pretty sure. I haven't played any mods. I wanted to beat the main game, but like I already know there's a lot of good stuff for Minecraft, and you just look. It doesn't take like much effort at all to find cool custom content. Ugh, fuck, excuse me, give me a second. Also, I think there's like a community in Minecraft to I don't know how many people, but I think there's like a dedicated fandom of people who just sit down and make campaign maps for Minecraft. Like they craft stuff specifically that you can download and play a little story for. I know they made a game mode in Minecraft that supports this. I think there's a mode called adventure mode, isn't there? Something like that. You select adventure mode, and then when you use it, you just have it so you can't break blocks, and you just use the stuff that people put out for you. Seems like an interesting thing. I've never played it or never used it before, but it's a decent game mode. Minecraft's really good at supplying you any number of things you can do for content. That's where my biggest problem with Animal Crossing comes from. It's sandbox. It's a pretty good game. It's not bad, but it's not really got any way to keep me pulled into it. People say oh, the game gives you over 100 hours and you're playing it quite a bit, then you must love it and it must be a great game, right? This has one of your favorites. No, you have to look at this from multiple different angles, and one of those things is specifically how is the game designed? Is it designed to make you pull in hours? Is it designed where it's supposed to be short? It's all these things are really important to whether or not the game's actually worth wasting time on. And I feel in the case of Animal Crossing, it falls really short of that issue. I don't know exactly how much my hours are, but I think they're only 200 or maybe 300 at most, and I think for a really addictive sandbox game, 500's a bare minimum requirement for a decent time to log in. I'm not saying 100 and 200 aren't anything, but they're not that big when you look into sandbox games. Sandbox games should have that pool that keeps you coming back to do more and more in it, no matter how much you play it. It should be getting you interested in jumping back in. And I feel Animal Crossing lacks that pull. Same reason I've also talked to people over the issue of who are saying oh, must love Pokemon, especially Pokemon Sword and Shield, because you log a lot of hours, and it's no. Pokemon's main draw, outside the main story, is collecting every Pokemon, which takes a lot, and then on top of that, there's shiny hunting. If you have any idea what shiny hunting is and keep any watch on it, you can very quickly understand how it adds up hundreds of hours. Oh man. Sorry if I went on a little bit of a rant there. Just wanted to talk for a little bit about this subject. Thought it was a decent talking point for a little while. Let's see. While we're on the topic of sandbox games, any good ones you guys know of that or good ones and people don't mention much, or any that aren't things you see brought up very often? I'm trying to think maybe less popular, just things that are, I'm not sure what to say for this, less popular is the best way I can think of to describe it. Yeah, I know that apparently No Man's Sky got updated multiple times after it got released, and supposedly they made the game a little better, so apparently there's that. I've not really had any urge to check that game out. If you asked me, this is just my opinion, I feel No Man's Sky kind of missed the ship to get people really interested in it. It was not the most amazing game, not a terrible game. They've improved it a lot, but I feel they waited too long, and the fact they had everything overblown out of proportion, they kind of lost a lot of their fan base by just sitting there lying about features that weren't ready for the game yet. And the fact that people abandoned the game and jumped ship immediately should be no shock to anybody. Let's see. What are the most big sandbox games right now? I remember some that I've seen not so long ago, some decent ones. I think there was one I saw that was Epic Store exclusive recently. It was something called Satisfactory or something. I don't know very much in terms of the details of what the game is, though. Oh shit, are we gonna be able to live or do we lose? Okay, I think we're alive still. I think we got this as long as Max Lightning works. Or shit, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe we don't have enough power to actually kill it. Fuck. Sea of Thieves also got a lot of updates. Good one. Mess it up as well. Yeah, I haven't played Sea of Thieves. I don't know like a whole lot about it. I do know it seems like a pretty decent game though, so I mean, maybe one day I'll check it out. Sea of Thieves is interesting because it's not something you'd think of like, excuse my nose is acting funny. It's not something I'd think to like call like open world or not open world. I was talking about sandbox. Yeah, I'd like talk about sandboxes. I wouldn't think to bring that up necessarily, but I guess it kind of fits that description pretty well. And I hear a lot of good things about it. I guess it fits that. It's got a very, very interesting idea. I like the way it like encourages you to go exploring and like look for treasures and stuff, and also like explore like a bunch of different islands and find like mysteries. I might have to play it at one point. Because maybe I Rare thought it'd be better. Yeah, Rare's had a kind of fall from grace. I mean, the fact that their stuff isn't good anymore shouldn't be surprising. Like, their team kind of got dissolved from being composed of like a whole bunch of original developers that are really good at Rare to like developers that are just kind of leftover and not as good. Hold on a second. I think I need to update my counter. I don't think I updated it to 10 yet, or I get sidetracked and forget. I don't want to make any potential mistakes again. Make sure that's good. Yeah, okay, it's at 10. Right, there we go. Still nothing. Not surprised. Hold on a second. I'm just checking my... Wait, we shouldn't leave until we double check these guys, but... I'm not going to be on long, like I said earlier. I'm planning to get off the stream and then stop after we get to 2 hours today. I want today to be a really short session, so I'm watching the time kind of closely. I don't know how to feel about Rare stuff. I think they were apparently, like, at least helping some with, like, the new Battletoads game. I remember hearing it wasn't very great, though. I heard, like, it was okay, but I heard the design was, like, kind of lackluster or not very good. I don't know if anybody's actually played that here or not. One of my friends who streams was playing it a little bit, and they stopped playing it. I think they just didn't have a lot of interest in the gameplay. Like, they played, like, one session on their stream, and then they stopped. I don't know. I remember the NES one without even playing it, just because the fact, like, everybody talks about how hard the NES Battletoads game is. Probably not the most, or not the best choice to go to for, like, a go-to remake of, like, an old property from them anyway, to be completely honest. Although, I don't know. I'd love to see a new Banjo game, but I don't want to see them fuck it up again. Like, I'd hate the idea of seeing another bad Banjo game or something like Nuts and Bolts that isn't very good. That's a pain that sucks, because, like, we just got Banjo and Smash, but it's like, it'd be really great to see Rare make another one and see it be good. Also, the fact that, like, we were promised a Banjo 3 and it never actually ended up happening doesn't exactly make it feel any better either when you talk about Ukulele. Like, Ukulele felt like it had potential to be something really good, and Ukulele was kind of that... It was an okay game, but when you really look at it and compare it to Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, it's like... It's not that great of a game when you look at it side by side based on those games. Ukulele falls short in a lot of areas, and it also has, like, way too... I'm not sure what the right word is. The design feels like it's behind the times, though it doesn't feel like it understands, like, what makes games good nowadays. Hang on a second, let me see. Fossil Leave reminds me of Unfair at Times? Or Unfair? Yeah, I've seen it before. There's some bullshit segments in it. Like, I remember the Angry Video Game Nerd video where the nerd was, like, talking about how the fucking turbo tunnel was, like, total bullshit and he never really passed it. I've seen like a lot of people who play it just turn on like the cheat for like having like infinite lives, and I can't really blame them because the game looks like it's not fun at all. So I mean, I'd probably end up using the cheat too if I was in that scenario. It's like, why fucking sit there wasting time on a game that's not gonna play fair and make the whole experience just bullshit from beginning to end. Let me see. And when you tell them at a live? Yeah, I know what you mean. You could probably say that about quite a few older games. Especially if you mentioned, like, Castlevania. Not the first one, necessarily. Although it is really goddamn hard. If you were to get somebody like Castlevania 2 or 3, though, I doubt many people would actually be able to fucking do it. Castlevania 3 fucking it's pretty good, but good god, that game is merciless when it comes to, like, actually letting you make progress if you fuck up in the game. And Castlevania 2 is like the worst sense of direction I've ever seen in a game. Like, the poor translation hurts that game so much. That game has a terrible translation that only confuses the fuck out of you, and like the dialogue, this is so badly written. It's like I think the nerd like talked about this, and he said like the NPCs in the game literally lie to you. Why would you make the NPCs that you talk to tell you lies that make the game harder on you? What's the point of having you just get bad information from visiting towns? Like, what the hell? Oh, man. Let me see. Stupid, it makes it harder. Team S. Yeah, I remember that. I've seen that plenty before. Does he both have 3 stars to levels? Oh, yeah, I think I remember that. I haven't seen that in, like, the game itself very much, but, like, I've seen people, like, mention this when talking about it. It's like, yeah, I'd be pissed off about that, too. I don't feel like I'd blame anyone for wanting to scream at the game for fucking making you restart the level just because one person died. That's a problem with a lot of older games, like the really unforgiving, like, difficulty. But it's not really something that bothers me anymore because I don't really have a huge craving to go back to old games unless it's something I really have interest in. I don't know. It's like some of them I can handle, some of them I don't understand the design choices behind. It's funny when you talk like older games, like stuff that's really unfair, like you'd think maybe something like Contra would like fall under this, but Contra's actually not that bad, especially since it gives you like a cheat code you can use to get like a whole bunch of lives, and I feel like it's really easy to like play Contra and get like the best upgrades and like mow down all the enemies where they can actually start killing you even though you die in one hit, like balanced in a really, really good way despite having a really, really unforgiving live system. Still, I'll take our modern game design system over fucking old games any day. I don't miss playing hard shit that's not fun now. Like, I would not want to go back to that. Oh, man. Let's see. I got sidetracked. Where were we? We were talking about a lot of stuff. I wonder if we're ever going to see, like, more Banjo. I'm just thinking, like, I miss Banjo-Kazooie, actually. Good game series. I wonder what the last Banjo game actually was. Was it Nuts and Bolts, or... I know they re-released Tooie and Kazooie. And there were also, like, some Game Boy titles. I'm not sure if those came after or before Nuts and Bolts. Oh, my throat's actually a little funny. Got to play as a Divine Beast and Hyrule Warriors. Cool. I think I heard about that in, like, one of the reviews. That was a neat thing to hear about. I'm sure getting to check that game out is going to be a lot of fun when I finally get some time for it. I'm looking forward to playing it. I hope they continue making, like, cool stuff for Zelda spin-offs, regardless of what they do with it. I'd be down for more Hyrule Warriors. I don't know how fast they can work with it, but, like, fill in storylines using Hyrule Warriors. Or maybe even expand it to other franchises, too. The Warrior stuff is pretty good. What's going on? Let me see. Well, save states. Yeah, I remember that, like... I don't really like talking to people like that where they... Like, the argument is like, oh, you use save states and you're cheating. It's like... I believe in the scenario of, like, if a game is, like, designed unfairly and just bullshit and not fun to play, it's like, why shouldn't I use save states? Why should I have to sit there and subject myself to bullshit in the game just because the game's designed by some developer that wants to make things fucking hard on the player for no reason? Like, I don't feel like that's a reason for why I should not use them. If it's balanced fairly, I can maybe do it without the save states, but I feel like a lot of older games don't actually try to be fair. Welcome back to the stream. 2 shinies. Cool. Wait. Wool and Dugtree are you talking about Alolan, I'm guessing? I'm not actually sure. Because I don't know what that means, unless that's what you're referring to. Yeah, I've quite a few, actually. I've got a whole box of shinies. I've been collecting them for some time now. Pretty much got started in Let's Go. Been building up a collection over, like, since then. Working on my shiny living decks in Let's Go and just getting... I've gotten a lot that are, like, just shinies that I've just stumbled onto just playing the game, like, through these Dynamax Adventures, and also, outside of that, like... Or she was gonna say, got a lot from that, and I've got a lot that I shiny hunted too. Congrats on that. Let me see. Yeah, that's the thing though. It's like, if you look at a game that's like really hard like that, it's like, you gotta put it into perspective. It's like, if a game is unfair, what's wrong with like using a save state on it? It's like, there's a lot of games where it's like, sure, you can beat it without save states, but if it's literally designed to be way too hard and make the player frustrated, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with using a save state to win. I feel like that's just getting even with the devs for fucking making a really hard game just to spite the players. And a lot of them do this just to did this just to like artificially increase the game time. It's like, yeah, nobody likes seeing that shit in games, honestly. It's like it only makes the game look worse when you can like see the game's like only like maybe like 30 minutes long, but the only reason it's like actually like playable at all is because the game's like meant to be really fucking hard just to mask the like length of the game. That's the kind of thing that was like really a problem back in the day. I don't know if there are any that are that short, but like you get the example, like really short games that they covered up just because they had hard difficulty settings. Oh man. I still never beaten Ninja Gaiden, actually. I remember I've tried it multiple times. That's one of the games I've wanted to beat. I've been not wanting to use save states, though. But that final boss, the final boss of Ninja Gaiden is so fucking bullshit. I've tried beating it so many times, and I can never pass the fucking like last few phases. I think the furthest I've ever made it is like the second phase of the final boss fight, and then I end up fucking dying every time I reach it. I've never actually seen the final phase of it, even though I know what it looks like from watching YouTube videos. Plus, the game sends you back to the fucking start of the level if you end up dying against the final boss. It's like, yeah, this is designed to be bullshit. Yeah. Ninja Gaiden 1 is fucking unforgiving in its final boss, and that's the one part of the game I can't pass despite coming so fucking close to it. I don't know if I ever will. I nearly beat Ninja Gaiden 2 as well, but Ninja Gaiden 2 was like fucking... It's not like it was hard, but it is so goddamn long that I just gave up after like a while. It was like 7 or 8 worlds, and I think I got tired of playing and just stopped. It's a good game, but I just didn't fucking have the patience to go through like all of it. I'm not even gonna get started on Ninja Gaiden 3. The bits I played of Ninja Gaiden 3 were like really fucking bullshit, though. Those were not very fun to play. I feel like that game took all the fun out of like the first 2 and then found a game that was really shitty. And then to top it off, I'm pretty sure the American version of the game has like a limited like lives and continue system, and I think the Japanese version doesn't. Jason, Yeah, that's just games for you sometimes. Save states are helpful, though. I mean, it lets you beat games you wouldn't otherwise. And then there's other times where you play stuff that's like designed with save states in mind that makes you fucking want to scream when you play it at certain points. Like I played Kaizo Mario 1 and 2, and those like ROM hacks are fucking really goddamn hard. I remember that fucking Boo boss fight in Kaizo Mario 1 particularly well, because that was really goddamn hard, and it took me quite some time to fucking beat it. Like oh wait, let's see. Should I use this now? Fuck it, I'll do it. But yeah, God, I'm surprised I ever got by that. ROM hacks are an interesting thing to talk about, because obviously they're not, like, official games, so the whole difficulty thing, you get to throw that out the window. The people making ROM hacks usually just make hard shit just because they can. There's some good ones out there, some really good ones, though, if you look pretty far and check for them. Anybody played any that are actually, like, really good? I don't think I can name, like, a whole lot of ROM hacks I've seen that are great. Most of the ones I played that I know are, like, good are, like, ROM hacks made by, like, well-known creators that work with, like, 1 or 2 games at most. Like, one of the more famous ones I'm familiar with is Kaze Emanuel, I think it's his name, however you say it, I might have mispronounced it a little bit. The guy who makes, like, all the Mario 64 ROM hacks. I know about him. He makes some fun stuff. He's made, like, a lot of Mario ROM hacks. I think the most famous one he's made is, like, the Chaos Mario, whatever you call it, that thing where you have those effects that are playing from, like, cheat codes at random. Thinking on ROM hacks that I can remember, actually. Somebody made a really neat one. I don't know if I mentioned it on the stream or not. It was for, I believe, like, I think it was the Zelda or a Metroid one or what, but it's like a hack, and you, like, use it to, like, play A Link to the Past, and it's, like, it swaps between A Link to the Past and Super Metroid. I think it's meant to be, like, a randomizer for, like, speed running. It's really, really weird and really, really interesting. You're basically swapping between 2 games just at certain points without, like, any warning. I like the idea behind it. I don't know if I could ever, like, play it and actually get very far in it, because the concept is really weird and seems like a hard thing to work around. I think the weirdest one I've seen, the one that makes me just feel a little odd, like, looking at it, like, I thought about trying it. Somebody made, like, a ROM hack of Super Metroid, and, like, what they did was they took the whole game's map, and they, like, I think they rotated it, and, like, the whole game was, like, turned sideways. So you had to play the game completely differently because of how everything was laid out. And just for the record, for anyone asks, yeah, you can actually beat the game like this, but it's not very fun. You have to go through and, like, approach every challenge differently. I remember what the name of that is. I can't remember. I'm gonna look and see if I can see it really quick. Those are the interesting ROM hacks, though, like, the ones that do creative shit. I feel like I probably would have never imagined somebody making a fucking ROM hack where the goddamn Super Metroid map is turned sideways on you. That takes a lot of dedication to, like, waste your time doing something like that. Wonder how much time that took to actually develop, too. Let's see. What's our time and, like, stream time? We've been up for about nearly an hour and 40 minutes. Like, it's been quite a bit, so we'll keep going. I'm not ready to stop yet. Let me see if I can find that name of this really quick. Okay, it's apparently, I think it's called Super Metroid Rotation. And like, I'm watching, or not really watching, I'm looking at a little bit of this, and it's like, why would you do this, and how? I don't know what they did. Don't know if they used, like, a editor for, like, the map, or they found some way to, like, take like, existing tools and just slowly rework the map. But, like, I gotta wonder, what inspires somebody to waste their time taking a map of an old game like this and then fucking slowly fucking changing it until they've literally flipped everything sideways. That's a really bizarre fucking ROM hack idea, to be honest. I mean, really bizarre ROM hack idea. Oh, man. Whatever, though. Let's see. Might switch to thinking of another topic to talk about, unless you guys have any you want to bring up. I can't think of any other, like, big-name ROM hacks I want to mention right now, so... yeah. Yeah, nothing else is coming to mind. Okay, we'll change the topic to something else for a little bit. Let's see. I had something I was just about to talk about, and I don't remember what it was, though. I think it was relating to this exact matter. I hate when this fucking happens and I have, like, a thought right on the top of my... or on the tip of my tongue that I want to mention, and I end up forgetting it, like, right before I can say it. Just give me a second or two. I'll find something to talk about in a moment if I don't remember it. I'm just trying my best to see if I can remember what the fuck I wanted to mention. Yeah, I can't fucking remember it. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I can't. Oh, wait, now I remember now. It was a bit of a different subject, and I almost forgot. What's the worst anti-piracy measure you guys have, like, seen in a video game? I'm curious to hear about this. Also, hold on a second, because I'm a little concerned. I haven't seen a chat message in a while, and I want to make sure everything's not broken again, because I don't really trust YouTube to not break the chat since it's done it on me before. Kind of worried it might just stop working all of a sudden, and I wouldn't know because I haven't got an easy way to keep up with that. I guess we're going to the right, because there's grass Pokemon. I actually watched a fairly interesting video, and, like, I don't know if it's that recent, I don't remember the name of it, but there was a video about, like anti-piracy, and it was talking about, like, a Spyro game. I think it was Spyro 3, but I'm not really certain, like... Wait, what's going on? You don't need to tell me that. I know that doesn't mean the chat's broken, but I mean... I've seen YouTube chat break constantly on me in the past. I'm being safe, and it's not normal to see a chat room where it's, like, completely silent for long periods of time. This is one of the only chats on Twitch or YouTube where I see this happen, like, that frequently. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't feel like I see dead silence in chats often. It's natural to be concerned the chat's working when there's no messages. That's not really true, although, then again, I haven't really used YouTube since the, like, live stream update with the whole new layout, but I've seen my chat break multiple times on me in the past, and fairly frequently before they changed their layout, so I'd say, yeah, no, that's not really accurate. Although right now it's been okay, but it's not really easy to judge about that if I don't have any chat messages. And it's not like I can tell if there's anything wrong or not unless I actually look. Why I prefer to have a little bit of activity in the chat. There's no way to actually check that other than checking myself. Seen too many times where YouTube tells me if there's an issue and I have to fucking reload the chat room just because the fact that I thought the chat was empty and it ended up that there wasn't is just the fact that the chat was breaking on me. It's a very, very common and annoying error. Ugh. Anyway, where was I? I think we were talking about, yeah, anti-piracy. Yeah, I remember now. I was watching a video, I don't know when this was, it could have been a year or two ago, but I remember watching a video about anti-piracy in Spyro 3. Probably one of the worst cases of this anti-piracy I've ever seen, because I remember, like, I recall watching this and they went in detail about how this function worked, and I believe the game would, like, fuck with your save data. Like, you'd play it, and, like, as you were playing, it'd like, randomly, like, I think it reset your position, and it would also, like, sometimes it's like reset when at the game when you're playing it in the middle of it and like erase some of your progress. Like they would literally do pretty much anything to like keep you from getting very far, all because you had a pirated copy of the game, and like it interfered with like so many different parts of the game. I think I recall like something about like language switching like parts of the games too. Like it would like randomly change like language on some of the characters without any warning to like that you couldn't properly understand some of them, and which is also fucking weird and really annoying. But I guess it was kind of meant to be an effective anti-piracy measure. I think I recalled save data issues. Like there were all sorts of these like problems in this anti-piracy version, obviously intended to be there just for the sake of like making people angry with the game the more they kept playing it. And like the worst part of this was like right near the end of this like particular version. If you had the like a pirated version and you got to like the final boss, apparently the game would actually end up like erasing your save data like if you got far enough in the fight. I think it like, I don't remember if it was like right when you reached the final boss or what. It was something along those lines. It's kind of thing that's like, ooh, I can only imagine actually playing that back in the day. That must have been a hell of a fucking nasty thing to deal with. While we're on the topic of anti-piracy, oh man, I can think of like quite a bunch of different like games that have really lame anti-piracy. Not terrible. Some of them are actually pretty entertaining. If you guys have any you want to talk about, feel free. I'm trying to make these topics something that's easy for viewers to pitch in. But yeah, one of them I remember looking at was like a thing on, I think, Serious Sam 3. Like the game had a very, very good anti-piracy despite not being that big of a deal. Like if you got a copy that was detected to be stolen, there's like an enemy that's inserted in the game. Really simple. There's a scorpion enemy that had like like God knows how many health. I think it had like 1 million or more. It would chase you around in like every level and kill you, basically ruining the game for you because you couldn't really feasibly beat it. You just die like trying to run away from it or trying to play the game because of this thing chasing you everywhere. Like it was a weird anti-piracy method, but it didn't work because it was fucking stopping you from playing the game. Funny, I think people like actually like found a way to like play the game and like multiplayer and try to like team up and beat this fucking anti-piracy boss for whatever reason. It was stupid. I imagine there's probably somebody who's had like a fucking pirated copy who's intentionally tried to beat the game like that before. I can only imagine how fucking hard it is to actually sit there and beat it like that, though. Probably not worth the effort, to be frank. I remember like a study about like this whole thing actually while we're talking on this. Like I recall reading about piracy in like games and stuff, and there was one thing I remember from, I don't know how long ago, it might have been quite some time now, but like there was a thing like, it was talking about how developers who actually like make certain features like piracy, like sometimes they'll like make things to like catch the attention of people who pirate the game, like not a negative, but like some extra feature or something. I don't know why, but they like made a way to try and like advertise the game to like get potential people pirating it to buy it, and like supposedly developers who went out of their way to handle this and do that kind of stuff ended up like getting more sales than all the devs who intentionally put the stupid DRM in the game to keep people from playing it if they pirated it. It was a really, really neat topic to like look into. Something I found interesting. Not really a big deal though. Thought I'd bring that up. Is everything okay on the YouTube side right now? I can't tell because I don't know if the view count is glitched or not. It's telling me there's 0, and sometimes it's very, very inaccurate. Also, the lack of chat message. Like I said, I'm trying my best to make some conversation topics we can talk about, but sometimes I'm a little slow at thinking up new stuff that I want to bring up, so yeah. I'm sorry if not everything I've been bringing up is like the most interesting to discuss. I tried my best to make interesting new topics. Let's see. I don't know, I can't really tell. Whatever. I'll just keep talking anyway, but I'll give me a little bit to think on what I want to talk about at the moment. I'm not really too certain at the moment. I guess I've got one thing I can think of. I'm sorry if it's a little uninteresting because I'm like taking so long and thinking new stuff. So what do you guys do? I'm curious, like what do you guys do when you're bored and like you don't want to play games for like other activities? Obviously aside from sleeping. I know some people eat when they're bored, which may not be the most healthy thing. I don't really care. I'm not gonna judge, but like thinking on like different stuff that I want to talk about. Like, what do you guys do for different activities? I was going to talk, like, specifically exercise, but I feel like that might be another topic for another time, or we can talk about that a little bit. I don't do enough exercising, to be frank. But like I said, we'll discuss this one a little bit more a little later, actually, because I do like talking about this kind of stuff every now and then. I've personally just been like if I don't want to play a game, I usually do sleep, which is not the best solution to having something else that doesn't occupy me. It's just the solution to like sleep and maybe do whatever for a little while. Also like to browse the internet when I'm bored, so I mean there's that. That's a fun way to kill time. Just sit there looking at articles, checking out stuff. Sometimes I watch videos. Let's see, anything else that I can remember that's like big? I also like to go out and drive every now and then, but I don't really care about doing it too often. Like, I don't really make a habit of going out and just driving and looking at stuff. Sometimes it's nice for, like, say, driving and going and seeing, like, Christmas lights or whatever. I kind of miss, like, being able to go out and do, like, stuff like arcades and, like, also just, like, game centers, those kind of things. Maybe go to a place like where you could do ice skating or whatever. I think I've been to places like that when I was a lot younger and kind of wouldn't mind doing something like that again. Movies are good too, but I don't see them enough. And I talked about it earlier, like watching movies is a good way to kill time. Same with watching TV shows. I would say like playing sports, but I haven't played any sports in forever actually. Like I like to play a bit of basketball sometimes and I have an opportunity, and baseball too, same with that. Like all the stuff I like to play sports wise require like a bit of setup though, like how soccer requires a goal and I like to play that every now and then. Same with baseball and basketball, so it's like don't really do that because I don't have access to the right stuff to do it, but I mean I do like those a little bit. Shooting hoops and doing whatever basketball can be fun every now and then. Let's see. If there's anything else I can think of on this topic. I can't really think of like a lot of activities I like to do. I actually could talk about exercising a little bit. I feel like I want to wait and discuss that a little more at a different point with more people though. I thought of something that'd be pretty good. What are some fun things you guys have seen like on TV or the internet? Like, I want to say like competitions that are pretty good. Like, I remember like there's a lot of those kind of things you can see on TV. Like, you see like one where it's a eating contest where it's like eating hot dogs or whatever, eating anything, or they're drinking something, those kind of things. Sporting events are pretty neat too. I like watching like whatever kind of competitions I can see that I find even somewhat interesting. Dog shows are pretty fun to watch too. I like seeing dog shows for namely the dogs. I mean, people I see like a lot of people who come to those dog shows and they bring their dog on and they try to make the focus about them when everybody's really interested in the dog. I don't know how I feel about them as a whole though. I mean, they're not the most amazing thing, but seeing the breeds and seeing how the owners care for them is kind of good. Also, it's great to see a dog pull off tricks. I don't know, something I like about that. I just like watching dogs do that kind of stuff. You can't really teach cats tricks, and you can't do... Like, I feel like dogs are one of the few animals you can teach to, like, a lot of tricks. Makes dog shows kind of fun. Also, dogs are really smart. Able to pull off tricks. Able to do, like, exactly what you ask them to. They listen to you very carefully. Like, that's something you don't get to hear about many other animals, necessarily. If any I can even think of. I can't name any other animal that, like, listens to humans that closely and has that close a bond to us than dogs. Oh, man. I wish this didn't happen so much on YouTube. It doesn't bother me too much, but yeah, I wish they had, like, some way to make things a little easier. Like, maybe I need to find a way to work on this and, like, work on my talking points for finding more stream topics, but, like, I hate how things just go silent and then it's nobody talking and like, the stream dies down without anybody watching just because there's, like... It takes me a little bit to think of new things, and if I do, sometimes people don't even, like, chip in and talk about the topic at all. I hate that I feel the need to, like, bring that up and, like, say anything about it, but it's like, it does bother me a little bit not having any activity in the chat. Just a little bit. Oh well, though. Whatever. Trying to give me a second or two. Well, whatever. I was gonna think about, like, something relating to what I just talked about, I think, about, like, competitions or whatever. Basically that kind of thing. Let's see, what is this? Oh, this is for... Yeah, this is for just, like, items I can use. Okay. Let's see. Do I want anything else? I think I'm just gonna stick with what I've got so I can use this. I think that'll be good enough. I feel this is the thing that sucks when I, like, have things I want to bring up and I don't remember very well. Like, I genuinely have a lot of talking points that I want to bring up and that I just don't remember. Anyway, since I'm not going to switch to that other topic, I want to save this topic about sports for a little bit later. Maybe it's not the best decision, but, like, I'm going to talk about it at another point. Hey, let's see. I guess I've got one thing I kind of glossed over that I forgot about and, like, wanted to talk about. That was my bad. I guess I brought this up a little bit earlier, but yeah. What are some, like, good fan-made things you guys have seen before? Custom content by fans. Really cool mods. I've seen some, like, quite a few. I could probably bring up several that I can think of. One good one is, like, there was a mod I saw recently. Actually, mod may not be the right word, but whatever. You know what I'm trying to say here. I think it was for Mario Galaxy, but, like, somebody made, like, a video where they, like, imported, like, the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl map into Mario Galaxy, and that was, like, the whole entire map, and it was playable. You jumped around playing as Mario and, like, checking out, like, this big map, and you could go anywhere in the game and just do whatever just by jumping or... Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Did we really just die just like that by fucking one hit wiping us out? Okay. Yeah, lovely that I noticed we died a lot, but I didn't think we were that close to losing. That was my fault. I should have been paying attention. Alright, one more round of this, and then we're done. I'll do this one, and we're stopping. Anyway, let's get back in here and try again. Right, we're talking about custom content. Yeah, somebody made a map of, like, the whole Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. At least I think they made it Diamond, Pearl, Platinum's whole. They didn't detail some areas. Like you can't see the like caves and stuff because I don't think they like actually made them inside. It's just the outside on the overworld map. It would have been neat to see that. I don't think they had like the like little. I forget what it's called. The area where you find Giratina, and I don't think they put that in the game either. But that's not really a big deal. I think it was based on the Pokemon Pokemon Diamond map. I'm not actually sure though. I'd have to check. See all the details. It was on A Drive channel. It was really, really neat. They even replaced the star, like a Staryu, and they put like the very end of like the Elite Four. Neat little thing. I like seeing that kind of stuff in games. It's just a genuinely neat little thing. I think that's why I'm so intrigued by the idea of something like Dreams, though. Because Dreams, like, encourages you to play, like, user-created stuff, and you can find a lot of cool stuff with that. Even just looking through, like, fan stuff, you can see, like, a lot of stuff that's got a lot of effort put into it that's really, really good. So it's like, yeah. Please, somebody pick the Rotom. Anybody? Come on, we need that Rotom, not this stuff. Okay, good. That'll help a little bit more. Anyway, yeah. Like, I feel like I look at Dreams, there's a lot of stuff that's not very good in fan creation. There's also, like, a chance you find something really cool, something really well done in Dreams, something great. Same with Mario Maker. I feel like when you give tools to fans to make something really cool, you can see some fantastic results. I mean some genuinely good results. I don't know, though. I'm just talking for whatever. Speaking of fan-made stuff, this isn't like a topic for like... this isn't like a part of the topic of like good fan-made creations, but like Portal 2's level creator is good. I remember I've wasted a lot of time even after I beat the main game and started screwing around with like custom maps that people made through the little map creator Valve made for it. Whether it be like co-op or single player, I downloaded quite a bit of them and checked them out, and there were a lot of fun ones there that ended up being worth looking into. What is this? Eerie Impulse. I've never seen this move before. Turns an Eerie Impulse. Target if what target to harshly lowers the target's special attack stat. Okay, interesting. That's a very, very odd description of a move, but I think I see what it's supposed to be for. Now that's actually going to be helpful at any point in the fights, though. See, fan creation stuff I wanted to talk about. Actually, I had another topic that I wanted to talk about that I just completely forgot about it until now, but I guess it's whatever. It's not a big deal. I'll bring it up on another stream. Anyway, let's go back to what I was talking about, at least. Good fan-made creations. I mentioned Kaze Emanuar. There was one thing recently I found pretty good that's not like his normal stuff. He did like a hack where it was like a little ROM hack that was like a prequel game to like Majora's Mask, and like it was in between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I think it was called like The Missing Link or something. I don't remember precisely. Really good looking little ROM hack. Not very long, but also fairly good, and unfortunately it got like, I think it got a DMCA by Nintendo, like they took it down unfortunately, but it looked really, really good. Had some new mechanics, had new story, and looked like it was really, really well thought out and looked pretty fun. I wish I had tried it. I don't know if the download's still available or not, though. Speaking of fan creations, it's really neat to see people like put like games in like different engines or different maps and see how they function. Like I remember Kaze or somebody else did like a same or like a similar thing with this. With like they did like, what was it? If I remember, I think it was. I think one of them was like, oh yeah, one of them was Mario and like the Donkey Kong 64 map. That was one I remember. I don't remember if that one was like very good. It had a lot of cool stuff that was like reformatted to fit Mario stuff to make it a little easier. And the final boss was unfortunately just Bowser, but it's not like it's a big deal. Another good one, I don't remember what the name of it is, unfortunately. It was like somebody did, I don't think it's Kaze, somebody did like a recreation of like Banjo-Kazooie stuff, except they took like the Majora's Mask map and they put in Banjo-Kazooie in it, and it was really neat. I found that to be really goddamn cool. I was really interested in actually checking that out. Like, that looked like something that was pretty cool and pretty fun. Like, I might have to play that eventually. Probably not, but like, I think that'd be a fun time. Alright, I don't know why we're switching to a Serena. I mean, maybe that's helpful for the boss? I don't know. Well, give me a second to look at my choices. I'm thinking we go over this way, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. There's a lot of cool fan-made stuff. I think I mentioned some of this earlier. Fuck. It's a shame I can't remember, like, fan-made stuff I want to talk about very well, though. I'm sure you guys know about... Shit, give me a second before I keep talking, so I'm gonna lose focus if I don't. I'm gonna get this thing, I guess. Yeah, I remember when he made, like, AM2R, that was like that Metroid 2 remake on, like... I don't remember what engine they used. They did it from, like, scratch. That was impressive, and, like... Just the fact they were able to remake an old Game Boy game like that, that's incredibly amazing. It sucks that Nintendo they took that down instead of, like, hiring the guy who made it. Meanwhile, you look at Sonic fans make a lot of cool stuff, and Sega, like, actually, they, like, offer some of those people jobs. Hi there, welcome to stream. Let me see, what's this? Interested in double battle? Sorry, not really here to do battles or trades. I'm purely focused on doing Dynamax Adventures, and plus, on top of that, I'm actually kind of close to stopping my stream. I was only going to be going on for 2 hours, and I just now got on to, like, the last one I'm doing for the stream, so by the time this is all over, I'm done. Sorry. Not really interested in playing for doing any battles. Maybe one day when I find I'm not busy with, like, in the middle of playing through shiny hunting, I might consider it. Now is not the best time, at least. I think we're talking about custom game content and, like, cool fan-made stuff, so I'm just gonna give myself a second or two to think on that since I was talking about that and see if there's anything that comes to mind or not. I played a lot of, like, custom maps in TF2. That's one thing I enjoyed, and, like, games I played, playing custom maps in games is a good way to get a little extra fun out of the game if it's not, like, a big deal. Seeing somebody put through effort and seeing something that wouldn't be there normally, or something fun about checking out new levels. Let's see. What else, though? Why can I not think of any, like, big ones? I guess I'm not going to keep going on this topic too much today. I'm having a little bit of trouble, like, thinking on this exact, like, topic of, like, what all I can discuss. But, like, I would say one thing I find to be really neat... Shit, why can't I had this right on the tip of my tongue, and I was ready to talk about it, and then I ended up fucking forgetting what I was gonna mention. I mean, fan games are good. Fan games are a natural extension of what I was talking about earlier. Like, that's a pretty decent topic to get into. A lot of fan games have a lot of love put into them. See them in, like, little game jams or whatever. Those are really good. Usually, like, a large chunk of those are fun. Don't know if I can remember anything else I wanted to bring up or not. Shit, sorry. I guess let's switch topic and see if there's anything else I can think of then. Just give me a second or two. What all should I talk about right now? That's the only problem. I don't really know what to, because I'm not... said it before, I'm not great at thinking of stuff off the top of my head. Fuck, I can't think of a lot to talk about right now. I'm sorry. Not the best stream. I apologize. I didn't think it'd be this hard for me to, like, keep my thoughts together and, like, think of anything entertaining. I didn't expect that. That's my bad. I wasn't completely prepared to be in this scenario, but whatever. I have one thing I can think of that might be decent to talk about a little bit. So, here's something that I wanted to bring up. Something I just now thought of, though. Anybody saw anything in the Battle Royale genre recently? I don't think there's been any, like, new ones or anything too interesting in a long time, but I thought it'd be worth bringing up and seeing if there's anything that anybody wants to talk about there. Last one I can think of is probably Fall Guys, actually. It's the last thing I can think of that's big that came out. I mean, I know Call of Duty Warzone was big for quite some time. I don't know if that new Call of Duty that came out has like an actual battle royale or not. Oh yeah, Mario 35 has been out for a while, but I don't know if that's got the same amount of popularity. It's been really weird and really interesting to see like how the like battle royale genre like doesn't have a lot of activity in it, and like it's very very active, but it feels like there's not a lot of games in it that often, and when there are, they're not always the most interesting. But then there's like one game that comes out and makes everything else look kind of eh. Fall Guys was fun, really unique take on battle royales with the whole party game like structure, playing through like little mini games and trying to survive until the very end. Whole focus like being like Takeshi's Castle was like a really... Was Castle, is that the right name? But I don't remember if I'm saying it right. Yeah, that game. And like... that focus on Battle Royale was really cool. That's a genuinely good one. Really, really unique theming on it. Funny how they've evolved to be like really distinct. I think the first... What is the first one? I think the first one was like the Minecraft thing. Somebody made like a Minecraft Hunger Games or some shit at Battle Royale where you're trying to survive and trying to avoid getting killed off really easy. I've never played that. I've heard of people talking about it, and that's really all there is to it. I don't know anything more about it, so can't comment on it a whole lot. Don't know the details of it. I think PUBG caught like a lot of people's attention as like one of the first kind of big battle royales out there. I never played it. I never had any interest in PUBG. It just seems like a kind of weird like game. I guess it was unique, considering like there weren't really that many battle royales at the time it came out, so naturally it had a lot of attention on it, and it ended up being like focused on for quite some time. But like yeah, that game nowadays, I don't know anybody who plays it still. I think Fortnite has attention because Fortnite is free and like it's kind of easy to keep attention on Fortnite. You can keep finding easy ways to sell people on it. I played Fortnite for a while and I enjoyed my time with it, but I gotta say I don't really care much for Fortnite. It was fun while I enjoyed playing it and kept playing. I kind of got to the point where I didn't feel like I was enjoying it because I felt like the skill gap was getting higher and higher, and like getting harder to play if you didn't happen to have any really good building, and I kind of didn't have the best building, so ended up falling behind the curve and not really doing as good as some of the other players. I couldn't keep up with it, ended up giving up. I think after Fortnite, though, it kind of just turned into like every dev like running out there to make their own battle royale game, ended up flooding the market, and then didn't really get a lot of attention as a result of it. Dude, why are you fucking taking a goddamn nearly dead Pokemon into a battle with you? Are you trying to fucking kill our team? Oh my god. Whatever. But yeah. See, where was I? At least now, like, a lot of battle royales that stand out are, like, actually fun, creative battle royales. Like, I can name, like, some good ones that are really popular, ones that are actually have a lot of attention that are pretty fun. Tetris 99 was, like, the first one I remember that was, like, really creative and really caught my attention. I also liked that, what was it called, Tab G or whatever, even though it's not popular anymore. It's that game where you play with the little guys from, like, the Totally Accurate Battle Simulator or whatever, and they basically made a battle royale type game like that with the weird ragdoll physics. A little hard to play, but it was goofy and a fun parody game. I enjoyed that. Tetris 99, I think that might have been the first, like, really creative, like, battle royale game. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Correct me if there's some other ones that are interesting and did something unique with the genre, but I can't name any off the top of my head. Then again, I only heard about, like, a lot of the big name ones, so that might be why. I don't know, playing with, like, 99 people and playing in Tetris, it's not something you really think of, and it's like, well, I guess it actually kind of fits. It's like, the only real requirement for battle royales, it has to be a lot of people playing and trying to survive, and that it's usually, like, say, 100 people, but it doesn't have to be 100. It could be however many people without there being, like, a requirement for how many people. I'd say Mario 35 is, like, the second most creative one for me. Maybe, I'm not sure. Then again, Fall Guys might actually be more creative. I like the way they twisted things with Mario 35. It's certainly short on, like, player count when you get into, like, the argument of, like, how many players does it constitute a battle royale, but, like, I don't think that matters too much. I like the whole way they turned the Tetris trash mechanic into a way to send enemies to people. The gameplay's interesting. The little slot adds quite a bit to it, and it's also, like, not set up where being a speedrunner just makes the game easier. You actually have to be good at Mario and able to pay attention in, like, a really, really short amount of time to, like, make sure you don't play stupid and end up falling to your death or whatever. One mistake and you lose everything. I wish we got more battle royales like that. That's not like it's a bad thing. I don't really feel like we need a whole lot more of them, but, like, yeah, getting battle royales that have, like, interesting designs on them would be good. More than encourage the developers to make something kind of cool and something interesting rather than just spit out another run-of-the-mill battle royale game that nobody gives a shit about. I don't know. Just thinking here on, like, different things I want to talk about, and that was one thing I wanted to bring up. I've been playing Tetris 99 a lot recently. Feels like the skill level has gotten, like, significantly higher and higher and a little bit harder to, like, play, but it's a very, very good game despite being challenging. Like, I still like playing it quite a bit. Also, I feel like poisoning this thing was a fucking mistake because we could have paralyzed it and potentially stopped it from trying to fucking do this kind of shit, and now it could kill us off this attack. Why did I know this is going to end me dying and the whole thing going to pieces? Because the fact somebody had to fucking somebody had to fucking poison it and we couldn't stop its movement. That Origin Pulse attack ends up being, like, really hard to fucking deal with. The rest of the fight's manageable. Let me just check everything. I think we're not getting any shinies here. I think we've got everything we're gonna get. I would do more, but I don't want to sit here and, like, continually keep playing when I feel like I'm not really getting too far and struggling to actually win, so I'm gonna stop. I could probably do better if I wanted to waste time, but I don't want to end up making this a long stream, so yeah. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the session. Sorry if this wasn't the best stream, it wasn't the most interesting. Anyway, let's just stop now. I wanted to talk about my topic I was talking about a little more, but I think I've talked about it plenty. I'll try to work on making things a little better. Maybe I should do my strategy I had before where I set up and had, like, topics wrote out before where I started so I could, like, have stuff to reference and what didn't bring up, so I might look into that and think about that. I don't know. I'll make I'll try to think about what I should do to help with this, but I don't know if there's anything I can do for that. We'll see. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed the stream, and I hope you all have a great day or night. I'm done today. I don't think I'm going to be playing anymore. I'll see you guys either tomorrow or the day after. Bye, everybody. Take care.